Okay, we continue. So we will now proceed to explain what it means to us, but let's recap what we just said in last session. During the course of Sefer Shemot, the universe is undergoing a transformation. That God consciousness is coming into the world. The Avos, they were able to look past the world and see Hashem, right? And in their personal reality, they were real with the fact, that there is a God, in their personal reality. But, they weren't able to reveal it to the rest of the world. They argued with the rest of the world. They tried to convince. They couldn't demonstrate, right? Because there weren't revealed miracles like Moshe did. There weren't things like the Eser Makot. The Abbas just relied on their philosophical argumentation. Sorry, something distracted me in the kitchen. It was still called, Chazal referred to the first period of the world as Alpayim Tohu, the 2,000 years of Tohu. The world was still shapeless and formless. And we explained this in the last session, that the world lacked its, pillar, its right to exist, because Hashem created the world on condition that the Torah be accepted, that there be a Jewish people that accept the Torah and uphold the Torah. So the world didn't have its pillar to stand on, and also didn't have its Shem Shamayim, which gives us unity, gives us a focal point, gives us point center. Point center is what holds things together, and point center is also what keeps right on the right side, left on the left side, up, down, down. The point center is also the divider. It's the unifier and the divider, which we explained in context of the Mishnayot and Avot. Knesila Shem Shemaim Sof L'Kayim, Machloket L'Shem Shemaim Sof L'Kayim. The convergence, you want to hold things together, that's be L'Shem Shemaim. Right, it would be the unifying center. You want to keep everything in its proper place, that things shouldn't cancel each other out. Right? It's machloket l'shem shemaim, because it's the function of point center. So the universe is lacking its point center. So it's lacking its amud, its yesod, right? It's yesod, and it's shem shamayim, which is the tachlit, which is the midah of malchut. So it's lacking, the tzaddik yesod olam, the pillar that upholds the world, and it was lacking the goal. Right, which is represented, which is what point center represents, the goal, the tachlit, which is what Shabbos is also. Shabbos is when Shem Shamayim is revealed. Yismachu b'malchutcha shomrei Shabbos, the midah of malchut, midah of Shem Shamayim. That's where we say, Ata kidashta et yom hashvi l'shmecha. Right, Shabbos is married to Hashem's name, and it's tachlit maaseh Shamayim v'aretz. It's the end goal of all of what Hashem created for in heaven and earth. It's all focused at Shem Shamayim, which is Shabbos is, one of the representations of Shem Shamayim. What's another representation of Shem Shamayim? The Beit HaMikdash. Right? That's why we all focus. Wherever we are in the world, when we daven, we face where the Beit HaMikdash used to stand, and that's called Kol Makom Asher Azkir Et Shmi. Hamakom Asher Yivchar Hashem L'Shakin Shmo Sham. So the universe in Sefer Shemot is finally, getting its pillar, its foundation, its right to exist, which is its foundation, and it's also getting the revelation of Shem Shamayim, which is, point center, Nekudata Tachlit, the center of which should be the center of our attention, should be the centrality in our lives. Kol Maasecha Yula Shem Shamayim. So the universe gets that in Sefer Shemot. And so when it's not just the Geula of Am Yisrael in the geopolitical sense, it's the Geula for the world. The world now, finds itself. It has its its right to exist. It's Yesod and it's Malchut. It's Yesod and Malchut, right? Which are the two elements of Brit. Yesod is the aver itself, the organ itself, and the Malchut is the crown on the aver or a man's wife. That's what should be aimed at. Your good Jewish wife, or you only use it l'shem shamayim, never wrongly, never chas v'shalom spill seed. So that's what happens cosmically in the world, right? It's chatzos. Klavim Tzoa came at chatzos. The Gemara says in Brachos. It's the time. Anyways, so now it's on Sefer Shemot. That's why it's called Shemot. The Shem Shamayim is revealed, right? And with the revelation of Shemaim is also the pillar that connects to it, the chibur of Yesod and Malchut, right? Or Torah Lishma. Look at this. Even the animals are getting excited. That's be Torah Lishma, Torah for its own sake, Torah for the shame. That's Yesod and Malchut. The tzaddik is the one who upholds the Torah. And that's a tzaddik yesod olam, but then he should do it all lishma, l'shem shamayim. The Torah learning should be lishma, do mitzvot lishma, all just focused, just for sake of doing it for God's will, right? And that's what comes out in Sefer Shemot, right? And so now when Am Yisrael reads Sefer Shemot as a community, right, that becomes the cosmic energy of the time. So now we are supposed to ride the wave. The world, as it were, is finding itself, which is called that the world is doing tshuva, because the world is going back to being according to the plan God wanted. During Sefer Bereshit, even before the Avot, that's called Tohu, right? And even with the Avot just built up the potential, right? They built up, and Hashem made them promises for the future. The actuality of those promises, the actualization of the potential built out by the Avot, that's all blossoming forward in Sefer Shemot. By no coincidence, Am Yisrael was taking out Chodesh Nisan, which is Chodesh Ha'aviv, the month of spring, blossoming, with the potential going to actual. The Avot built up potential. And by the way, because of the potential that they built up, mankind had 7 mitzvot, the 7 mitzvot b'nei Noach. What's the 8th mitzvah? Brit Milah. And that's what Avraham Avinu got. Because of how he is going to give the world its Yesod and its Malchut, make the world connected to Shem Shamayim, and giving the world the right to exist. And Rashi says this, it's a Chazal, El Todol Shamayim V'Aretz B'hi Baram, right, the beginning of Sheni, the story of the heaven and earth when they were created. B'hi Baram is in the Otiot of Avraham, that the world is created in the merit of Avraham. So not literally the merit of Avraham, in so much as that Avraham ushers in the era of bringing that eventually there'll be the revolution, that there will be a people that will receive Torah on earth and give the world the right to exist. So it kind of starts with Avraham Avinu by establishing the Jewish people, who have yet to, actualize their potential by first of all becoming a nation, because the Torah is too big to give to individuals, because the Torah is forever. So you have to give it to a kli, a vessel that's forever, like a nation, and so on. But Avraham Avinu, he laid down the groundwork, Maaseh Avot Siman Labanim, and that's why Chazal said the Alpine Torah technically started from him. He started preaching in the year 2000 by our count. But it's reached full actuality with the Yetziat Mitzrayim, which getting out of the Meitzarim, breaking out. The world was blocked off from Hashem, breaking out. Now Hashem comes into the world, and that gives the world its Yesod, and you have Malchut Shamayim, the Malchut Shem Shamayim on earth, and the Yesod and the Malchut, clip into each other. The pillar that the world stands on has to be, you can't put the pillar on the side of the building. The building will put it dead center, aligned with Shem Shamayim. And that's what happens this week's, starting on this week in the course of this Chumash, that the world is getting its pillar, which is Am Yisrael, which is God consciousness. Generally speaking, it's all the category of God consciousness on earth. So it starts with the revelations in Mitzrayim, Gulat Mitzrayim, and it gets, then reaches a whole nother level with Matan Torah, of heaven on earth, Hashem's Torah from heaven on earth, and then it reaches a whole nother level with Binyan HaMishkan, right? You have Mamish, the Shekhinah lives on earth, right? We've created a portal, and heaven and earth are connected, so much so that the main Shekhinah is actually on earth, in the Mishkan. Now, Ba'avonotenu, right? We don't have all of that, that we accomplished in Sefer Shemot. There were setbacks. Well, first of all, the Mishkan, right? Which is eventually became the Beit HaMikdash, right? The place where Hashem's name Mamish dwells. That's where the Shekhinah lives. That's the Midah of Shem Shamayim, right? Right? Sadly, got destroyed, right? So now, what do we still have, right? That's like irreversible, in a good way, irreversible. That we made progress in Shemot, that we're never going back to pre-Yetziat Mitzrayim. We have Am Yisrael as a separate nation, right? Before we were Egyptian slaves, we're a separate nation. Am Yisrael Chai, and we have Torah. The Torah wasn't repossessed and taken back to heaven. So the Ramchal writes, and it's from right that what's irreversible, for the good, like the irreversible progress that was made is there's an Am Yisrael, which is with Mitzrayim, we are made a nation, Lakachti Etchem Lilam, and there's Torah, right? And that's what we have even now in the Galut, and we suffer for being Jewish, and we are willing to be Moser Nefesh for the Torah, and the Rebbe Shalom, for his sake, is still going to, preserve us, physically, ensure our survival, and spiritually, he still is Melamed Torah Lamo Yisrael. Natan lanu Tatan Chayalom Natab Betochenu. He's implanted with us, Okay. So now that's what Shovavim represents, right? Shovavim, Shmot Ve'era Bo B'Shach Yitro Mishpatim. Yitro Mishpatim are the parashot of Matan Torah. Right, everyone knows Yitro is the parsha where Torah is given, but Parshat Mishpatim at the end gives an alternate version of Matan Torah. The famous Naaseh V'Nishma in Parshat Mishpatim, right at the end of the when Chumash revisits Matan Torah. So that means Shmos Bo B'Shalach, which is all the birth of the Jewish people, Nisei Mitzrayim, Kriyat Yam Suf. Then we're finally a free, independent nation that is a kli for the Torah, right? And then the Torah, comes down in Yitro Mishpatim. So that's why in a regular year, we always have Shovavim, right? That because we're reading the story of how the world got Am Yisrael and got the Torah, got the Yesod and got the Malchut, right? In an irreversible way. So we tap into the energy of the time, because like we said in the last session, the Torah that we learn communally, is also indicative of the energy of the time. So we ride the wave and we renew also our commitment to Torah and Shem Shamayim, which is all besod the Brit Kodesh, which I'm going to explain in a minute. Right? But I just want to explain why in a leap year we have an extra 2 weeks, thank God, of Truma Tetzaveh, Shovim Tat. Now, the strange thing about the parshiot of Truma and Tetzaveh is that they're totally extra, right? It's like we have doubles. We have Truma Tetzaveh, which are the plans for the Mishkan and the Big Day Kahuna, and then we have Vayakol Pekude that says how they were actually made, and everything's repeated verbatim. The only difference is context. Over here says Hashem is the context of Truma Tetzaveh is Moshe is in Shamayim with Hashem. And Hashem's giving the plans, and then Vayakol Pekude is Moshe has come down, and it says and they made it, and it talks about the exact same dimensions. They made it like it's like that's why there's very little Rashi on Vayakol Pekude, because he explained it all in Truma Tetzaveh. Right, it's a dream for those who do Shnai Mikra, V'echad Targum, with Rashi. Vayakol Pekude is very quick, even though they're long parshas, because a lot of it Rashi explained already. Right? So what do you have? Doubles, right? You have the plans for Mishkan, then how they built the Mishkan, because there's 2 levels to the Mishkan, and we have a lot of material on this in my shiurim on my website. You go look, shiurim that have to do with this time of year, shiurim that have to do with Purim. Right, the Mishkan exists in the heart. That's the plans. It exists in our minds and in our hearts. Hashem dwells in us. And then there's also having the zchut of having it physically manifest. So the Mishkan was talked about like in pure thought, Shumat Tetzaveh, and then in action, in Vayakol Pekude. Right? So now in a leap year, which there's greater tikkun, because we know that the fact that the sun and the moon are not aligned, and the lunar cycle is shorter than the solar cycle, which has to do with the moon being smaller than the sun, because by Maaseh Breshit, they're originally the same size, and the moon was shrunk, right? So just like it was shrunk, so the lunar cycle was made smaller. It's 354 days as opposed to 365 days of the solar cycle. So that creates all the misalignment. And we spoke about this actually during Hanukkah, what the Greeks had against Rosh Chodesh. We discussed this. Okay, so please go to the website. Please go to other medium where we discuss this. All right, so the original problem with the world is the misalignment between the moon and the sun, and then la'atid lavo vaya or levana korachama, the moon is going to shine as brightly as the sun. Because from the mitigation moon, that the moon is smaller, that makes more darkness in the world. The lunar cycle is shorter. It's that's the smallness of the kedusha. That's misaligned. Doesn't fully absorb everything the sun wants to be mashpia. All right, so that's why we have a leap year. So here's an amazing thing. The Vilna Gaon says this. All right, that the lunar cycle is shorter than the solar cycle by 10 days. So when does the new year start on the lunar cycle? On Rosh Hashanah, right? That's Rosh Chodesh Tishrei is Rosh Hashanah. When is it the new year on the solar cycle? That's 10 days longer. Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, 10 days later. And that's the day of Kapara. That's when the alignment is made. Everything gets misaligned. Chet means to miss. Chet means to be misaligned. And that's what Hashem, the Chet HaYadua that we're doing tshuva for during Shovavim is when you're misaligned and the Yesod is not connected to the Malchut. And Hashem, things went levatala, was misaligned. On Yom Kippur is the great alignment between the sun and the moon, where we realign with Hashem, right? And that's 10 days later. That's when the solar cycle catches up to the lunar cycle. That's the alignment. Says the Vilna Gaon. Adar Sheni, the 30 days of Adar Sheni that we need to realign things, is made out of 3 sets of Aseret Yemei Tshuva. 3 sets of Aseret, don't make up the 30. Every third year is a leap year. Every third year, it's the 3 sets of Aseret Yemei Tshuva that give us the 30 days of Adar Sheni. So this day, it's a year where we're realigning, the sun and the moon, because they drifted too far apart, because we have to make sure Nisan, which comes by the moon, that will still be in the springtime. So it's a year of tshuva. It's a year of tshuva. I was just going to say something that slipped my mind, but and that's why we say it's the secret that we say in the Musaf of Rosh Chodesh up to Rosh Chodesh Nisan B'Na, including Ula Kaparat Pesha, further Kaparat. There's greater Kapara in this year, until Nisan, where that's been attained because we've made the alignment. So because this is a year of greater tshuva, right? Right. So that's why we gain, it's like there's an alignment being made. So we may not gain the Beit HaMikdash, maybe we could still gain it if we do tshuva shlema. But what's guaranteed is that even if we don't gain the Beit HaMikdash of Vayakol Pekude, physically manifest, we will at least gain the Mishkan in the mind and heart of feeling the Shekhinah in us, even if we're not zoche to see it physically manifest, in the Beit HaMikdash, but we have a greater alignment of feeling Hashem in our minds and hearts on this year, and that's why we have Shovavim Tat, right, on a leap year. because the power of tshuva is greater, that we progress, not just beyond renewing the Jewish, not just beyond renewing Jewish existence, right, and having Torah, which is shovavim, right? We get tat, we get the aspect of the Mishkan, of the Beit Mikdash, that's in our minds and heart, the plans of the Mishkan, how the Mishkan exists within us. We could feel a little bit of Shachanti Betocham on this year. So it's a greater year, and we could tap in more to the energy of Sefer Shemot than we can during regular years. All right, we said a lot, so we're going to have yet one more session, Be'ezrat Hashem, before Shabbat to complete our introduction to Shovavim. But here's a lot for you guys to think about, until tomorrow, Erev Shabbat, and hopefully we will finish the introduction by then to talk about what we have to do, and to make a little bit more clear what this has to do with Brit Milah and Tikkun Brit. Okay, so sleep on this, and we will finish up the introduction, before Shabbat, Be'ezrat Hashem.